Welcome back. Today I want to run through a document I made for Tesla and a way to analyze where their current business stands today. So I've broken this into a few different sections: the energy business, manufacturing business, technology, automotive, and insurance. So obviously at this point, everyone realizes Tesla is not just an automotive company, and the way to value them is not just based on traditional automotive metrics. And obviously there's also the technology component. Many people refer to Tesla as a technology company, or even we have the more forward-looking people calling Tesla an energy company. But I wanted to kind of synthesize all of these different components and include some different ones to really bring together the full picture for Tesla in a way that explains and fortifies Tesla's current valuation today, and so you can see how a lot of this will start to fill in and justify future valuations being multiples higher. Alright, so we'll start with energy. We've got the solar components being solar panels and solar roofs. Those are two separate identities because Tesla's really the first one to pioneer the solar roof. They've got a very strong solar panels business coming from Solar City, and they're getting their solar roof off the ground right now, and they're building out an installation network. They are not always the only ones to be installing it. I believe they hire out other installation companies, but they do have that advantage. And moving on to batteries, I'll just go through this kind of quickly. They've got the consumer batteries with the Powerwall, then they've got the grid batteries with the Power Pack, and then they've got the business battery storage also along those lines. And moving on to manufacturing, this is something that Elon has said that Tesla will eventually be the best company at manufacturing in the world. So I think this is not something people are taking enough into account. That really starts with the factories. They're focused on next-gen machinery. We've seen the single-piece casting kind of come to fruition and what they've shown off with that, especially at Battery Day. Then the materials engineering, they're working with SpaceX for the alloys, for the Cybertruck, and all of that. Even the RNA microfactories, that's not a big part of Tesla's business today, but it's something they're working on, so I don't think you can totally discount that. And moving on to production, we've got vehicle production obviously being the biggest one, and then battery manufacturing for the cells. We saw a lot about that from Battery Day, and then lithium mining, which is more a component of the battery manufacturing, but definitely something to include nonetheless. And then moving on to recycling, the last piece of the manufacturing puzzle. I believe this is also important. It might not be a big revenue driver, but it's definitely going to save on costs with the closed loop battery recycling program that they're working on to be able to take the batteries and recycle those materials to be able to reuse them. And moving on to technology, I find this one very exciting personally. Software, they've got the whole car operating system, and they're even building out their corporate software. They don't use a company like Salesforce, they do it all themselves. Services, this is where I included Tesla's SaaS business. So they've got the premium connectivity, which is where you pay $10 a month to be able to stream unlimited music in your car and get the live updated traffic maps and stuff like that. And then the upcoming FSD subscription. I didn't include many future projects in here, but I know the FSD subscription is just months away at this point, if not weeks, so I decided to throw that in there. And then also infotainment, not necessarily a service at this point, but I think it's a huge piece of Tesla's future, and I just wanted to include that at least somewhere in my lists here. Alright, and moving on to hardware. The whole FSD sensor suite, all the ultrasonic sensors and cameras, and even the radar that Tesla has to put into each and every car. They've got over 1 million strong Teslas on the roads. They've had to produce the hardware for all of those sensors for the whole suite that goes into every car. So that's definitely a hardware piece. And going along with that, the FSD computer chip, hardware version 3, they're working on version 4. But that is definitely huge. It's a design that they self-engineered to be as power efficient and still powerful when coming to the neural networks as possible. And I think we'll really see that play out going forward. And moving next onto the Dojo supercomputer, this is also a big component when it comes to Tesla and their future with self-driving. So I think we haven't necessarily seen that, but Tesla's ability to produce such advanced FSD computer chips really plays into how they will be able to develop the Dojo supercomputer. And then moving on to the neural networks and the AI piece of it, not necessarily AI at this point, but more neural networks allowing FSD to work. So we've got, of course, the FSD neural network being how Tesla's autopilot actually is able to function. And then I threw in the auto bidder. That might be more machine learning, could be a little bit of AI. I'm not too sure about what those different terms specifically mean in that context, but I think that is very important not to leave out. And then, of course, moving on to the automotive business, service, I include this in here, car service. So they've got their service centers, which are a very big piece of the puzzle when it comes to being an automotive company and being able to service each and every one of your products in a way that is fast and a way that is beneficial to the customer that is having problems. And then also sales, I think this is very important to recognize. Tesla has the direct to customer channel. They've got all their galleries and stores across the world, really, and they do sell accessories on their website as well as merchandise. So there's a big sales component to their success as a business. And then fueling. So they've got the version 3 and even future versions higher than that of the supercharger network, which is very built out and will continue to be built out. And that is actually bringing in revenue for them to be able to push back into the network. And Tesla also has local stations that can be at restaurants or other places around the world, and there's a pretty big network of those as well. And then finally, insurance. Tesla is working on vehicle insurance, being able to insure their cars based on the data that they have from the driver, and knowing that Teslas are actually much safer than they are being recognized for. So bringing it all together, energy, technology, automotive, insurance, and manufacturing. I think when you put it all together and you look at it, it's very interesting to see. There are so many components that have yet to be built out. It's been said that Tesla is a dozen startups in one, but many of these startups are already off the ground. The automotive business is flourishing and the energy is starting to come online. They've always been good with the technology, hardware and software, and the manufacturing is just getting better and better. But the insurance is still getting going along with their new batteries, the 4680 cells, and FSD really hasn't taken off yet. The Tesla network is not yet here, but it will be soon. And there's so many other components that I didn't include because Tesla has not gotten into them, such as boats, such as planes. It's just so much that they have yet to do. I didn't get to include the Tesla network, of course, because that is not online, but there's so much they will be able to take away from that, especially when it comes to revenues and profits and driving the core strength of the Tesla business. So when you look at the company today, valued at 750 to 800 or even above $1 billion, I think it is a very clear path to $1 trillion from here, whether it happens next week, next month, or within the year. I think there is a very clear path for Tesla to be able to hit that milestone and to move forward. I'm going to keep my target of $10 trillion by 2030 because everything I've been hearing in the news about Tesla, about their manufacturing, the Model Ys are going crazy, new developments on the solar side of the business, and just even watching the 10th build of the FSD beta really is showing how Tesla is not slowing down, they're only accelerating. And I think Q1 will be huge for them. We've also got to wait for Q4 results, which are just around the corner. So even just stepping away from the stock for a second, I think there has not been a better time to be a fan of this company, and I think we are in for a huge and record-breaking 2021. So I hope this was insightful for you. I just wanted to throw this together. It did take a little while to sort everything. Let me know if I forgot any components of Tesla's current business today. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I think this was just a good way to synthesize and analyze what Tesla is working on today and why they are so highly valued. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next video.